Hi guys, I'm live. I'd like to do a lesson on the 7-string electric guitar, and since Eric Johnson didn't do his lesson on the 7-string electric guitar, I can call it total 7-string electric guitar. I can't call it total electric guitar because Eric Johnson already called his video that, but I can call it total 7-string electric guitar. So here it is, a lesson in 7-string guitar. Jimmie's shirtless guy style. That's a low B there. G, G, B, and E. Okay. Voice. I'm making sure trying to make sure the voice comes in. Okay, so obviously on a 7-string guitar you have an extra low B string. Chances are I'm tuned everything flat on this guitar, so that's actually probably B flat, A flat, A flat, E flat, G flat, B flat, E flat. So you may, if you want to follow note for note, you may have to tune down to E flat and or buy a 7-string guitar and then tune down to E flat. It would be B flat since that's the lowest string in this case. So starting off, I want to note that if you take the open strings on the first 5 bottom open strings, in the top 2 strings at the first fret, you have the entire circle of force of white keys on a piano. So in other words, I'm going to go first fret of the high E gives you an F, first fret of the high B gives you a C, that's a fourth below that, and then the open string G below that is another fourth, then below that is a D, another fourth below that, then another fourth below that is A, another fourth below that is E, another fourth below that is B. So F, C, D, E, A, and B, that's the whole white, it's the whole set, white notes on a keyboard in force. Only if I do it backwards and go upward, it would be fifths, wouldn't it? F, C, G, D, A, E, B, upward is a circle of fifths. Then if I go downward, it's the circle of fourths. So B, E, A, D, G, C, F is the entire white key circle of force from D to F. So that's very advantageous not only in having a 7-string guitar, but it's advantageous to know that about your 7-string guitar if you have one, so you can visualize the fretboard in your mind and or eye. And there's a E or two, but let's stick with 2 at a time, LOL. So whenever you do a lick that involves all 7 strings, let's say a 3-note per string lick that involves all 7 strings, you're going to play all 7 positions of 3 notes in that scale, if you know what I mean. Like if I play an A Dorian mode, I have every single, well, let me just show you. An A Dorian mode starts with this, and then I have this. That's the 2 patterns that have whole half in a whole diatonic scale. Then I have this, and then this. That's the 2 patterns that have a half whole in a diatonic scale. Then I have this, and this, and this. And that's the 3 patterns that have whole in a diatonic scale. Diatonic scale has 3/3 that are whole. That's whole. Then it has 2 minor thirds, 2 minor thirds that are half whole, and it has 2 minor thirds that are whole half. So there's only 2 minor thirds that have whole half, 2 minor thirds that have half whole, and 3 major thirds that have whole, and that makes 3, 2, and 2, which is 7. Interestingly, 322 is also the secret number of the Masons and Skull and Bones societies. because somebody died in the year 322. One of the great people died in the year 322, so that's where that comes from. But anyway, you have all seven possible three-note combinations all in one position if you go from the first to the seventh or seventh to the first strings. And that's helpful to keep that in mind when you're visualizing the neck. Let's say I want to play an E Dorian, I just go. You know, like that. In some ways, that's actually more logical than having a six-string guitar, because you don't have all seven, you only have six of the possibles, and it's a little more confusing if you look at it a certain way. That's the Dorian position in E Dorian. Then if I go to F sharp Phrygian, that also has all seven positions possible, all, you know, three-note patterns possible in a diatonic scale. Then that would also be G Lydian. And then A mixed Lydian. B Lydian, B Aeolian. C sharp Locrian. D Ionian. And to E Dorian. It's really rather symmetrical and perfect to have seven strings. Vi, thank you. That's actually a good thing. And then, of course, don't stay in one position only. Go all over. Buy a Raderator because it's the only pedal that can handle those low frequencies and make it not muddy. You hear the bass on the Raderator. Beautiful bass. I don't know how it comes across on the screen there for you guys, but in the room it's great. And when you go to play a 7-string, I want you to play it like you really mean it, like you really know that string. Start off a lick on it on purpose to get your head around it. Like, don't start on the E string like you're used to. Start on the low B string. That's an E harmonic minor scale starting on the 5th fret of the low B. Yeah, think low B instead of low E. You need a Raderator to keep up with the tone on that, though, I tell you. In fact, if I think about it, if I play it and even just for a few hours on a 7th string, I actually get my head so far around the 7th string that I can easily do it from then on. If we all upgraded to 7th string guitars, I'd be rocking in like an hour with that thought and that effect and that effect. I would just go with it. It would be like really cool. You play that 7th string like it's like you own it, like it's part of you, like it's part of the guitar. You don't play it like, oh my God, what do I do here? Really get it under your head around it. Moderator to keep the sound down, to keep the sound up the bar. Here's a B Dorian mode starting on the 12th fret of the 7th string. I hate to say it, but it sounds kind of like a Randy Rhoads thing. Here's a D major scale Ionian mode starting on the 15th fret of the 7th string. Try again. Hey, that sounds like Randy also. Randy should have played a 7th string. A good hater response is, well, you need 7, Jimmy. Randy did it in 6. Touche. Maybe a Lydian mode on the low F sharp. F sharp Lydian starting on the 7th fret of the low B string. F sharp Lydian starting on the 5th fret of the low 7th string, because that's where F sharp is. Starting on the 13th fret of the low 7th string. A C, I don't remember what mode I said I was going to play. Did I say, I think I said C Aeolian. Yeah, I did say C I did it right that time. Yeah, C Aeolian on the low, on the 13th fret, starting on the 13th fret of the low 7th string. Actually, I'm going to start on the 11th fret. It's the B flat below the C. That's where I needed to help get my visualization of the fretboard down. If it stumps you for a second, just keep at it till you get it. Don't move on to something else until you learn what you were starting to do. That's admitting failure. Don't do that. So, in alien mode, starting on 13th fret of the low 7th string. C alien mode. Yeah, you get the gist. So play all 7 strings. You might want to play clean there. That's E Dorian mode starting on the 5th fret of the low 7th string. Here's F sharp Phrygian mode starting on the 7th fret of the low B string. To the E Dorian mode, starting on the 5th fret of 7th. And then there's linear stuff, and there's also tapping and other things. High E. Well, before I do that, notice that you have a E, B, and E, B, 2 octaves down. So whatever you do on the high 2 strings, you can do on the low 2 strings. And it's the same thing, just 2 octaves different. That's another way of looking at your lick. You can go. Going 2 octaves lower, it's the same notes in the same position, the same fingering if you want to. Always know you have it. Actually, very logical. That's actually more logical to have that than the 6-string guitar has. Double octave from the 6th string to 1st string is double octave, and from 7th string to 2nd string is another double octave. You have 2 double octaves, a fourth apart. You have from the E to the E, from the B to the B. So it's like having 2 guitars just side by side, except that the tuning is different because the major third interval is different in each set. In the E to E part, the major third is between the 3rd and 2nd strings, and the B part, if that were a guitar, the major third would be between the 2nd and the 1st strings, but it's not that different. I got a guitar here, I got a guitar here. Here's from the 1st to the 6th. Here's from the 2nd to the 7th. You only have 2 guitars. If you can handle the difference in the tuning of it, no big deal. Ricciotto liked to say, I guarantee that nobody knows that the harmonic major and the harmonic minor are negative harmonies of each other, and I unsubscribed within a few heartbeats. And I'm not going to make that assumption. But there may be only a few people out there. There may be. I'm not saying I guarantee it, and I'm not saying there's nobody. There may be a few that have actually played the 7th string as if it is 2 guitars. a good way of thinking of it, don't you think? From first to sixth, and now second to seventh. You can actually play omitting either the top or the bottom, depending on which one you do, and just play as if you have a sixth string. And then do the other sixth string, or do all seven, or stay in that sixth string pattern. If you get lost, just go to six strings. It'll save you. Neat effect there, huh? From second to seventh, to first to third to sixth. From second string to seventh string, then you go to first string to sixth string. It is a cool effect. Way of doing it, actually. Same idea. As I have an inside joke with the moderator, where when we really get a good idea, we say, "You know I'm a genius, right?" That's a good idea. I'm not trying to say that, but this is a good idea. We all know, or some of us know, this pattern. Why not do it different fingering slightly, but same thing on the next set of strings. Actually sounds more musical than trying to do it all on the sixth string to me. How about this little You cannot do that on a six-string guitar. Maybe you can, I don't know, but it sounds good anyway. There's tapping and right hand tapping, left hand tapping, linear things, you know. E Dorian. Aeolian. In the same key as E Dorian, just different string. G Lydian. Still in the key of E Dorian. D Ionian. Key of E Dorian, just different string. G Mixolydian. No, E Mixolydian. Sorry. Finally. Did I goof there? Did I do E Dorian? E Dorian. Oh. Wait. A, B, C, D. A. Oh, it was F Lydian. It was G Lydian. D Ionian. Oh, I skipped the string. Okay, I start all over. Sorry about that. If I'm going to play in E Dorian, but play it linearly on all 7 strings of a 7-string guitar, what do I do? First of all, E Dorian on the high E string, E Dorian. B Aeolian. G Lydian. D Ionian. Then A Mixolydian, not E Mixolydian, A Mixolydian. Which makes sense because I started on E Dorian on the first string, but it's E Dorian on the 6th string. And finally, B Aeolian on the 7th string. So that's all 6 strings, 7 strings, all up and down, all in E Dorian, and you can do it string by string. With piece of tapping if you want. That led me to something else about 7-string guitars. Here in 6-string guitars, you have the Hendrix chord. Low E, Hendrix chord on the 7th fret of the A string. Purple Haze. Purple Haze. But in 7 strings, you have the Wiseman chord on the 6th string root. Wiseman chord, if you're in the low E and you want to play low B, and you want to play Purple Haze, but you're in B now. On the 7th fret, play a Wiseman chord starting on the 6th string. Here we go. Basically, the Wiseman chord, which is this, is a 7-string version of the Hendrix chord. Whereas the Hendrix chord starts on the 5th string root for a 5th string root built for a 7-string guitar. The Wiseman chord is built on the 6th string root for a 7-string guitar. If you don't know what a Wiseman chord is, watch one of my old videos. But watch the right one, because a lot of times I don't talk about it. Works for blues too. Like in 6th string, you have the Hendrix chord for blues. In 7th string, you have the Wiseman chord. Where's the 7-string root? Wiseman chord note. Played the wrong Wiseman chord. See, I need to learn this too. Start over. Low B string, we're going to play blues. That's a F sharp Wiseman chord starting on the 14th fret of the 6th string for a B blues, which root chart on either the open 7th string or the 12th fret of the 7th string. It has tags that made my video. Maybe seal tags here. So, 7th string. Sharp, 14th fret of the 6th string root with a B blues starting on the low, open 7th string, or the 7th string start low 7, the 7th string starting on the 12th fret.